Welcome to the Boca Raton Tribune election special, Tribune 360. This is going to be an election special shows where we're going to go through all the candidates that are running for city council in the March 9th election. Today, we have Councilwoman Yvette Drucker with us today. Yvette, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, great to have you. So for those that, don't know you very well or just getting to know you because you're the newest person in the dais, introduce yourself to us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Yvette Drucker. I was appointed to the council last October. I'm a first-generation Cuban-American. I'm very proud to be the first Hispanic on this council representing a more diverse community in Boca Raton. I grew up in Miami. I've been in Boca since 2004. I have two teenagers, a new puppy that we got during the pandemic, which we're in love with. And I have been a volunteer in the community for over 13 years, doing a lot of advocacy around children and families at the state and federal level, and obviously local. I've served in over 19 nonprofit organizations, and where I've taken a leadership role in many of those, not just membership. It's literally a leader. My background is in corporate America. I had a 13-year career in corporate America where I did human resources and project management. So now fast forward to the pandemic, I kind of meshed my love for this community and my volunteerism along with my corporate background. I decided to run for office. I was fortuitous enough out of 32 individuals to be appointed to the council. So I'm serving as your councilwoman, and I'm also running for election. So that's kind of a little bit of the background.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us it's a journey. So tell us a little bit about, what made you decide to run, to join the council when that opportunity came up.
So I believe, and I believe even more today than when I decided to run, that local government has never played a more special role in our footprint. If you just look at what's going on in Texas. So we never realize how important your local government is. We are the folks that are touching your drinking water, your canals, your parks and beaches, your schools indirectly, your communities, your mandates. So there's so many things that we touch in case there's a hurricane. So we are really dealing with the everyday lives of people. The reason people don't pay so much attention sometimes to local elections is because it hasn't impacted them. So when local government starts to impact you, then I think people become more engaged in the process. So when the pandemic occurred, it was a great opportunity for me, being so entrenched in the community, that I wanted to be there to have a say on our small business recovery, our COVID recovery. Most important thing to me throughout this entire campaign and serving on the council is to keep people safe. Right. That's a real important thing to me. So I thought it was the best opportunity for me to represent a very large scale community. And that's why I ran, because local government is really impacting every day. Every day we get involved on everyday things that impact you, me, and the residents. That's why I did it.
Yeah. So let's say you get elected or re-elected. I don't know the wording. I guess elected.
I love to make the distinctions. I was appointed 4-0 by the council, but March 9th would be elected by the people. So that's important as well to me.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yes.
So say you were elected on March 9th. Is there anything that you see that the city council is doing that you would change if elected, or something that you think that could be better?
I think one of the things that we can do, so as a group, we're very collaborative. We're very different in the city council. It's the first time when we have people on the council that represent not only downtown, but we all live in different parts of our community. And I don't know if you know this, and if you don't, just for the people watching, we have seats, but not representative of areas. So we are 5 council members that represent the entire footprint of the city of Boca. Other cities have, like, seat C is the zip code that it's different here. So we represent everyone. And for a long time, all focus has been in downtown. But someone like me that lives, not in the downtown and is still part of the city footprint, it's important that we have equal representation, because we're all, contributing to the pot, right? We all pay taxes for the same services. So that is important to me, to have a lot of diversity and a lot of people living in different sections, because then you can really represent well. So that's working well. We're very collaborative. We don't always agree. but we do it with respect. And it's important to me to respect individuals regardless of opinions. This is a nonpartisan race, so that's also something that I kind of want to put out there.
Yeah.
And again, it's representing community. Things that we can do better, we can always do better. We can always do better. One of the areas that we've made note of is working with our beach and park district. We made a vocal in one of our workshops that we would like to meet with them on a regular basis. They're an independent elected body that also impact our quality of life, right? Because they have say over parks and beaches, etc. So we want to work better with them so that we can be more transparent to the community. That's an area that I see right away that is an area that's like, what I call, maybe like a low hanging fruit that we haven't done. And I think that'll be important. So that's one of the areas, if I think like right off the top of my head, that I would like to see moving in a better direction. Trying to see, with just the time that I've served, and I think someone just told me I've served in a little over close to 20 meetings now.
Yeah.
100% attendance record. It's kind of where I'm looking and where I'm going. So just collaboration, listening to people, always the input of the residents and the business owners, and really my special interest are the people, because people are the ones running the business. People are the ones going to the businesses.
Yeah.
So I think that if you represent the people, you're going to cover the business, the commerce, everything, right? You're going to the college students. So again, I think the council has been working very well. We don't always agree, but we do it with great respect. And that's kind of important to me.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about FAU. Let's jump to that a little bit. What are your thoughts on the ever-growing population of FAU, and how can Boca, retain these students once they graduate? Because when they graduate, they end up leaving. How can we as a city keep these students here?
I love that question, because in the past, and I think I've addressed this in other forums, FAU was looked at as a commuter school. And we all know that that's not the case, especially because of the pandemic, where we not only have students coming in, but a lot of other people coming into the community. So now what we have to do is like, what are we going to do? We have to grow up with the times. Yeah. So I know that change is hard. And I know people always, not always, but a lot of people frown upon development. So I always refer to my development strategy as smart development. So exceptional development with exceptional planning, then you could execute well. So I think one of the things that I voted on early on in my council appointment, and I was the actual deciding vote, was on a student housing project. Because what's happening now is that we got something this morning that a lot of students are renting 4, 5, or 6 individuals in single family home areas. So then those young professionals don't have access to those homes. Yeah. So it's a domino effect. If we could get the students in an area close to their universities, off of the footprint of traffic, safety, and an environment that's for young adults, because we've all been there, at least I have. I'm raising teenagers, I know. So I feel that then the next wave could come where we could get more of those young professionals staying here, working and playing here. So staying in our footprint and raising children, raising the future community leaders. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. We talked about traffic. Traffic has been an issue in Boca since as long as we've been here, pretty much, with the newspaper. And what are your thoughts on the parking issues that happen in the city and the traffic? And what's something that you believe can be done to help that situation?
So I think that the Bright Line is going to be amazing. I'll be honest. I'm really excited about the Bright Line. In 2 weeks, they're going to start clearing the land. They're going to move the community garden to Meadow Park. So we're not losing that. The green space community garden is something dear to me. It was part of one of the organizations that I sit on or that I sat on. And it's important. And then they're going to start, developing the parking spot. So I believe that having the Bright Line will get, a lot of us to just go to the downtown park, and take it in different areas, but also people coming in. We're going to have a lot of people coming into our own area, into our city, leaving dollars here, coming from Miami, coming from Fort Lauderdale, coming from Palm Beach, or even Orlando. So they're not going to have to drive here and have more issues with the traffic. So that's part of a little bit of the traffic. The traffic is out there. And what I've told people is, we've been looking at areas where we can, improve pedestrian walkways, more safety bike lanes, more turn lanes, speed bumps, crosswalks, because you mentioned something in terms of the parking. Did you say it's a parking and the meters? I thought maybe
No, just parking in general, but yeah, the meters work too. Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll have more areas to park. We've added more meter spaces along the road so that people could park and also use our downtown services. So once again, we're finding ways to get people there. Hopefully, I mean, the people that live like where I live, we still have to drive to our downtown park and then use the services, and we spend time there.
Yeah.
So, but I think the Bright Line, I'm really excited about that. It's going to help our environment as well. And it's also going to help with the traffic in our footprint and showcase our city and leave dollars here that we need, obviously. We need, it's a great thing to have in our city. I think it's going to be a real great addition to the downtown.
For sure. I don't know. I haven't been going a lot to downtown lately because COVID and everything like that. But there used to be a trolley that would go around, right? Is that trolley still around? And if not, is City Council doing something to kind of try to figure out a way to bring that back?
So so it was interesting. So what happened to the company? What I was told, what happened to the company that was in downtown? They got bought out by Tampa, by a company in Tampa, and they use that service in Tampa.
Yes.
And so that's what I got told, and et cetera, et cetera. That's something that we need to start, we need to think about. It's not something we've addressed with the council, hasn't been brought up to us. There's cost involved. And I think that's why in the past, there was issues and why it ended up moving into another city. So as we grow, it's really important that we have the infrastructure to support that growth. That's why I go back to exceptional development, but exceptional planning.
Right.
Planning to make sure that you're able to sustain the service that you want to provide. So that's kind of my take. I mean, I used that service when I was here. I think that's like about 5 years ago now, I want to say.
Yeah, about 5, yeah.
Right, but it still leaves you the people that are coming from this side, right? So it's a good thing to kind of look at it, and something that I would be open to if there's ever like a possibility or a player that wants to come and try that out again. But we would have to see how it affects taxpayer dollars,
right,
how we fund it, the safety side of it. So again, something we would vet. Again, I take every project and I look at it not only for today, but tomorrow and for like a decade. Where are we going to be when I'm not on the council 10 years from now or 6 years from now? How is it going to impact the area that I live in and that I love, right?
Yeah.
It's for the people coming up, right? So
for sure. So you mentioned a little bit earlier that one of the main reasons you decided to go for the city council position was COVID-19. So how do you feel Boca has been doing during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how will you in the city council assist in the coming months with either a vaccine rollout or any type of bringing life back to quote unquote normal?
So in terms of the people, again, I'm 100%. People should be wearing a mask and should be responsible to follow CDC rules. I believe that is shown in terms of science that it works. So we have been, as a city, we have code enforcement out there. If we get people that are, businesses that are violating, we send code enforcement. We talk to the businesses. Sometimes it's the actual people that don't want to wear it. So it's kind of like we all have to have our civic engagement. We all have to play our part in this role. Yeah. So as a city, we've approved CARES Act dollars to try to get it into, the grants into our businesses. We have also diminished some of our rules when it comes to signage for our restaurants. We have tents that are allowed now for businesses to open. I don't know if you've seen them popping up around town, as long as they're secure and safe. So they don't necessarily need permitting and going through a process in order to help not only business stay open, but also for people to be able to go and sit outside under the tent and feel that they're safe. So as a city, we've been very proactive with our COVID testing sites. As you know, there's one at FA, there's one by the mall. We have many at CVS's. When you drive around town, you see them in the back on the parking lots. So in terms of our testing sites, those have been running. There's a lot of ways to get the test. I'm not sure if it just got released maybe like an hour ago. The Sun Sentinel announced that there was like 4 more vaccine stations coming, and one is in Miami. So I hope that we at some point we'll have our own vaccine rollout area because we'll be ready to go. We received 200 vaccines in the city, and our firefighters went out. We had our system set up. We had our website up, our phone call center, and we were able to distribute. But 200 is not as many as that's all we got. That was back in January.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm confident that when we get distribution, we'll be able to roll out and be effective.
Yeah, perfect. No, thank you. So jumping a little bit now to about you, if you could give me 3 of your main campaign issues, what would they be?
COVID safety, public safety is always going to be first right now for me because it's important to be safe and to continue to move forward. Smart development is really, really, really important to me. And then education and environment together. But environment is important because of the fragile climate that we live in. But education about our children, again, trying to get them back to school. Although the city doesn't have jurisdiction over the district, we work with the district and, trying to push that forward. So right now, when I look at it, I really look at COVID safety, continue to say the safety part of it, small business recovery, continue to help our business to move forward. And again, education environment, important to me, and bringing the right business into our area and planning for the growth. Planning for growth correctly.
Yeah. What do you feel about growth? What do you feel like? What's your position on expanding the service boundaries of the city?
So you're referring to like annexation?
Yes.
So I think that's something we have to look at because again, we have to make sure that we have the correct water supply, drinking potable water, that we're able to put them on our grid, that we're able to provide the right sanitation services, that we're able to provide everything that, public schools, and not the public schools, but the public libraries, that the public parks are in the outreach. So, that's something that they look at, we look at, and I don't know as a council, when was the last time they looked at that? I know the last annexation occurred, I want to say it was 2017 when they added Royal Palm Polo, which is out this way. Yes. So it's something that's always out there. Again, it's that interesting balance of continuing to provide world-class municipal services and being able to do that without impacting, the rest of the people that are already in the footprint.
Yeah. What would you say are your strengths, and how do they help City Council?
I'm a collaborator. I'm a very compassionate person in terms of my character. I give selflessly in many nonprofits. I'm not the divisive candidate. I'm the candidate that wants to work together with no special interest to push forward a community that's made up of a lot of different people. So to me, my biggest asset is that I listen and I don't judge, and I kind of collaborate and understand where you're coming from. Yeah. So I think that's really important. And I am my own person. So I don't have political baggage. I'm not a career politician. I'm your true public servant. If you know anything about Yvette Drucker, is that's what I've been doing. And I'm continuing to do. I'm serving the public, even in a political capacity.
Yeah, perfect. We touched a little bit about the vision for the city. So I want to kind of get into that with you personally. Like, what is your vision for the city in the future?
I really think that the next 10 years for Boca are going to be amazing. I like to call them the golden years because we have a growing, we have young families coming in. So that's like your future, but you also have a growing population of students, young professionals that are going to be here. We have the best quality in terms of, and I grew up in a much busier area, and this is never going to be a Miami because they're just different cities, but we're going to have more diversity. We definitely have more diversity now. We have our beaches that are beautiful. We have our parks that are amazing that a lot of our families use, and especially during the pandemic. We have business. We have technology that's coming in. We have global entrepreneurship coming into here. We have an airport that has customs. We have our FAU research center that's an incubator. We have, businesses like modernizing medicine. So we have so many things that are working, and we're such a new city. So we'll be 100 years old in 2025. I love the history. I was the president of the Historical Society and Museum for Boca Raton. So I know a lot of the history. And for me, it's so exciting that we're able to preserve our history while we're embracing the making of our future.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like in a really exciting time where it's just going to be better and better because we have charm and we also have, we're growing up. We're kind of in the grow up stage, right? We're in like that age of, we're not just here to retire. We're here to make a difference and then retire and still contribute. So that's kind of how I look at, the next decade or so or more.
Awesome. So before I let you go, I just have one more question and then a closeout. But this has nothing to do with Boca, but I'm interested. Who is a political figure that you admire the most and why?
Gosh, a political figure. Gosh, right now, that's a stumped question. I'm not stumped, but I'm just like, there's so many because I have been an advocate for so long. And I love people that do a lot of the advocacy part more than the political part. So trying to think of everybody that I read or that I mean, I don't have one person, if I be honest, that I can answer that truthfully. I have so many women that it's hard to be in politics. It's hard to be a woman in politics. It's hard to do this whole, campaign and job. So to me, I'm just proud of all the women that decide to run for office and that are in office. I do have women that are a footprint that represent our area, like Senator Berman and Senator Polsky and Commissioner McKinley, who really encouraged me through some of the state work that we did, even though she's a Palm Beach County commissioner, to run for office. I think that those are the women that I look up to because we're not in the majority, we're in the minority. So any of the women already representing in our environment, I really look up to. Our deputy mayor who endorsed me, Andrea Rourke, some of the people on the council, like my council member, Monica Maya, like just women that are doing this. This is a hard thing to do. And putting yourself out there is so important. And I hope that I can inspire others to take my lead.
Awesome. That's a great answer. So that's perfect.
I just feel like those are the people that I sat with July of 2020 over calls and said, just do it. There's nothing to lose. Like if you lose, you lose. But if you win, you have so much to gain. And again, what is meant to be is going to be. So the fact that I ran and then I got appointed and then now it's going for election, it's almost like this has been an amazing journey for me as a woman and representing the community.
Before we wrap up, do you have anything else that I haven't touched on that you would like to add?
I would just say I love Boca. I've been here for a while. I've been raising my children here. I think the people in this community are amazing because they're so philanthropic. And if we all come together, we could really move forward. I am a candidate that's collaborating to make it a better place for you and your families. I have 100% attendance in the city council. Yes, I have missed a few meetings for volunteer advisory boards because my first job is being a mom. I don't like when women attack me because I've missed my volunteer meetings because at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is my family. But I do have 100% attendance record with the city council CRA workshop. And I love the city and I hope to be able to serve. And I hope that I gain your support come March 9th. And I thank you for the time and for the opportunity to present today.
Awesome. Yvette, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us today. Make sure to go out and vote March 9th, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thank you. Be well and stay healthy.
Take care.
Information. If it exists in writing, we print it. If it exists online, we update it. If it exists on mobile, we notify. If it exists in video, we show it. If it exists in audio, we play it. In the past, the news had to wait for a paper to print for it to happen. Today, news happens in real time. It's analyzed, edited, and published immediately by us, your neighbors, and of course, you. Wherever you are, you write, edit, give opinions, share photos, and make the news happen. This is why a paper needs to be on print, on screen, and on your phone. Wherever you are, your news has its pulse in the community. The Boca Raton Tribune. We are much more than just a newspaper. We are your closest neighbor.